Welcome to Heartbreak To Healed podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Baptiste from Rejected Hearts Club.
And I'm your host, Sophie Delcour with Healing Soul Spiritual Center.
And we do the heartbreaks
so you can heal.
Welcome to another episode of Heartbreak To Healed. Today we have an amazing special guest from Las Vegas that is going to share some interesting stories with us today. We'd like to welcome Miss Marie. Hi.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for joining. So we'll just dive right into your stories. And from what I know about you a little bit is that you've been married about 3 times now, and you finally met the love of your life. And we really want to know how all of that happened.
The crown jewel, the man you love now. Let's get into that.
Well, I think the 3rd time is definitely the charm. We met probably like in about 2007, I would say. It was probably where we came in first contact with each other from another person that was also incarcerated. And, it was very brief, didn't really have much contact. But years later, in 2017, I got an email from him. And he said, I just moved to this prison, where they allow us to have tablets. And on my contact list, you're on my contact list, and I don't know who you are. And he was like, do you know who I am? And I knew who he was. So it took me a while to reply back because I thought, oh, what is this? Is some kind of scam or whatever? But I eventually replied back and I said, I know exactly who you are. We met through so-and-so. And then he replied and he was like, oh, okay, well, how are they doing and such? And he was asking questions. And it was just a friendship that kind of built from there. And, I told him obviously that other person, I didn't really wasn't on speaking terms with the other person. So I couldn't really give him any information. But our relationship grew as a friendship and we had so much in common. Just the relationship began from there. And so we got married actually next month will be 1 year that we've been married. But we've been together almost 6 years. And so he's just came out recently. He's only been out for about 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And so very new. But it's been great. It's been a great relationship for me. He's been great for me. He's just the things that, he's been through. We have so many, just our backgrounds are very similar. Just to see the transformation of what can happen from somebody incarcerated has been huge.
So in our last episode, we also had somebody that didn't see red flags with the people that she was with, and they ended up as well being incarcerated and things like that. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to people out there that are going to date somebody that could be incarcerated, or things like, how did you move forward, or how do you get past, oh my God, this person's been in jail?
I think that my family experience, I have, some uncles that have been always in and out of prison. So I think that I wasn't just right off the bat, like, oh, this can't be a good person. This can't be, you know what I mean? So I think a little bit of the experience has been one, but I know the red flags to kind of, look for. And even as a matter of fact, when we have first started talking and he asked me, well, would you mind, talking? And I was like, don't ask me for this and don't ask me for that. And I'm not about this. And he was probably like, whoa, but he hasn't been any of that. And in all honesty, I haven't really had any red flags. I've tried to say, like, I think sabotaging it for myself, thinking they're there and I'm just not seeing them, but they're just not. And then even getting to know him, I don't see that type of, what you think of what you know of what a typical person that's incarcerated is like. And he's like, none of that. I can't see that person he used to be whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Which goes to show how much work he's done to really just change his life, but mm-hmm. I don't see any of that. I can't see any of the things that he says that he has done or anything in the past. He's just really driven and went to school, and he only had like an elementary school education.
Oh, wow.
So he stopped going to school very early, and he went back to school and he got his GED, and then he went on to college and he has 2 degrees, and he's kind of, he wants to work in addiction and be a counselor, and he's already started working in an outreach, program helping people, and it's just amazing what he's done.
What was he incarcerated for? Which is
Bur-
why I was asking about red flags.
Burglary.
Okay.
And when you get married, you have to divulge all that information.
Oh,
You have to, it has to be on your paperwork that they send to you. So, and he told me from the start, what it was for, and was never dishonest about anything. So he said, and up front, and he told me up front, he was going to go into this with just complete honesty, which he didn't really have in the past, which he never, he decided he was going to do things differently. And he's held true to his word, but yeah, when I got the paperwork, it had to tell me exactly, what the reason was. He was what you call a lifer. He was sentenced to 25 for life because it was his third crime.
oh my
So
God.
he had to go through a whole parole process and prepare for it. And just, he wasn't just like, here's your parole date, you're getting out. It was a whole process that he had to go through.
Were you guys dating while he was a quote unquote lifer?
Yes.
So were your intentions just to continue to stick by him no matter what, not even knowing if he'd ever physically be out of jail?
Yes.
Wow.
Because he wanted to get married, I think probably about 2.5 years into the relationship. And I was like, I'm not ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready at this time. I knew I wanted the relationship, but I didn't know if I wanted to get married. I didn't know. I had already had 2 failed marriages. And then when I was ready to get married, and she asked me, and I said, I'm all in, no matter what, even if he's denied parole, I'm in for the long haul.
That's amazing. And something that I would like to point out, because especially since you don't get to see it very often, but here it is with your husband, that in the spirit of Heartbreak to Healed, it sure sounds like that he actually really had heartbreak for his own actions, and him allowing himself to forgive himself, really, and know that he was worth so much more, and to actively go after being so much more, and to make his life better, is amazing. And I just a lot of times it really does come down to being able to literally forgive yourself for what you've done, and then know that you are not that person. It was just stuff you did.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and take that step forward.
Absolutely. And I know it took him a lot of years, before he decided, that this isn't that that's not the life he wanted. He wanted to, be of good and to help others. And so he's come a long way. And even with me, just like, um, you know, uh, being kind to people, he always tells me, you got to make sure you're kind to people, and you never know what other people are going through.
Since you guys did start dating while he was still in prison at the time, was that actually easier for you? Because now it literally places limitations on physical contact and communication, because otherwise, out in the typical, our dating world, for a lot of us, sometimes you can get like a barrage of attention. We suffocated for a moment.
Yes.
But those limitations, did that actually help you, like, deal with the situation, evaluate what was going on, be with yourself? Did it make it easier?
To a degree, yes. And people would probably find that really crazy that I would say that. But after I had ended my second marriage and we had stopped even living together, because remember I said we would live together even as friends, but when we stopped even living together, and it took a while for me to start dating again. But then I was like, when I got back into the dating game, I was looking for people that did not live in Nevada,
Good.
California, Arizona, because I didn't want somebody clingy, or I didn't want to have to always be with them. And so it's funny that you actually say that, because I do think to a degree, yes, him being incarcerated helped. We got to know each other. We had to do it through, letters and calls. And I got to know, like his sister, and his sister and I built a good relationship. And so it was hard to be away because obviously there are times when you want to be near them and you
Yeah.
can't, and he was in California and I was here in Nevada. And so, but yes, I think that ultimately, I think it was good for us, um, to know kind of, that whole just getting to know each other on a whole non-physical level. It took me probably about a good, I want to say year and a half before I actually went to go physically visit in person.
I feel like it's just the top tier of long distance relationships.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of that. It always works. You get to keep yourself and your independence, and you see each other, and it's magical. And then you
Yes.
meet in the middle. So,
But then losing that independence, because I find that I'm very independent. I think that I've had to be for so long. And even in my marriages, I always consider myself the stronger of the two, you
mhm.
know, and to let go, because I used to think that I wanted to just be that strong, independent person. But what I came to realize that I actually want a relationship that's more traditional, more the man is the man, the woman is the woman. And uh, it's been hard to adjust to, because he's a kind of traditional also.
Mhm.
So now it's been that kind of adjustment to be a little bit more, to know that I could be a little bit more softer and I don't always have to be the stronger of the two.
I'm sure it's been an interesting transition because, like you said, you're so used to being this independent person and the one that has to be the go getter. Your past two marriages, it's like you were always the number one. So now it's taken a step back, and now you can be the little girly wife. And
It's been a little rough transition, but
yeah.
I am trying to, and we'll get there. We'll get there. He's still in California and I'm still in Nevada, and the goal is in about 6 months' time he'll be fully transitioned here.
Wow. How do you think you're going to feel about that? Because that will be a full time, no longer long distance.
Yeah.
And it'll definitely be different, but I am looking forward to it. We have a lot of goals. He has a lot of things that he wants to do, and I'm here for the ride, to come along, with him, what he wants to do, and just helping people. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice. It will definitely be different, though.
Now, some of our guests might ask, how does she know that he's not going to commit another crime? What makes her trust the process and this person?
I think that he's done everything that he said he was going to do. And I think that, his promises, never broken one. I think I see it. And I think you just kind of got to go with your gut. So I don't think that he has any any of that left in him. I think that he's a full grown adult now. I think he
Mm-hmm.
understands the repercussions. He understands the impact. He understands he has a family now, and he would lose all that, because I have made that clear as well, that that would be the one deal breaker, for me. So, but I don't think he has it, and I think he has really good intentions. I just love it. I love to see all the things I know what he's capable of. I know what he's going to do, what the future is going to hold. And so I love it and love to just want to support.
That's so good. Like, that's exactly what he needs. And I love that he's willing to give back. And he most likely has tons of incredible stories to share on here's how I was and here's who I am now. And
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
grow from your past.
What was it like with family, your family, going through this? Because I'm sure at some point kids had been like, "Mom, what's going on?"
Yeah, they didn't know for about a good 2 years. My third child, my second daughter, was the one who I told next, and she actually has a great relationship with him.
That's so good.
And so she has seen him at the prison. She's went with me once, and my youngest, who's now 14, um, went with me almost to every visit. So he has a really good relationship with her as well. And then my son was the last to meet him, and he was the one I was the most worried about. That's my
Of
son.
course.
He's very
Yeah.
so different,
Yeah.
but he was very open, and he met him in person for the first time about a month ago.
How did that go?
It went a lot different than he thought it was going to, and he even said that after two. He's like, it was a little bit different than I thought it was going to, and he was very open to the relationship. So it's been great. My kids have been very supportive. My one of my daughters, the one that's the closest to him, she actually wrote him a support letter for when he was going before the parole board. And so one of the parole officers actually took him aside and said that her letter made a huge impact.
Wow.
And so, and she was very much against, people in prison. It was a red flag for her. And she said that he actually changed her opinion of people that are incarcerated.
Wow. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Which was huge. But yeah, they were really impressed by. I mean, her letter made me cry. It was so touching, and just everything that she had to say. It's been huge. If he can turn somebody around that's completely against people that have been in prison, that's huge.
That really is. That really is.
So with all the positivity, have you had anybody in your life, whether it's friends or like aunts, uncles, anything, that have been against your relationship?
A friend of my, when I was with my second husband, we had a family that he used to work with, and we were very close to, and they were like family to us here. They were like my second family in Las Vegas, and one of them went to him and told my ex-husband, I can't believe, what is she doing? What is she thinking? And even his best friend, I mean, they were concerned, he's my children's father. We have, 4 kids together. And so their concern was, the kids, I guess. And, yeah, they went to him and were like, I can't believe she's doing this. He's been in prison. What is she thinking? And so, but I explained to him, I'm going to just you can accept it or you cannot. I've always said that whoever I chose to be with in my life, I wanted them to get along with the father of my kids, my second husband. I've always said, I want us to be with people where when they get married, we can go there and enjoy the wedding together. They don't have to think that there's going to be any animosity between the two of us. And I found that partner. That's the kind of partner that I found. He wants to have a relationship with you and be able to be civil and so those are the only 2 I can think of, and they're not really a part of my life as much as they are my ex-husband's life, so it wasn't really a factor for me. Hurtful that they went to him and said something, because I would think, I've been in your life for many years. You should know that I'm a good judge of character and that I'm only going to bring people to my life that would be a positive influence. So it was a little hurtful, but it didn't change anything at all.
I love that you are strong. You run into a lot of people where they hear something like that, any form of criticism, and they literally will second guess everything that they're doing, just based off of what somebody else said. But staying true to what you know is right in your heart, it's beautiful. It's beautiful and clearly unfolding in a lovely way.
The third time is definitely the charm.
And for listeners, especially anybody that is currently struggling or has struggled with relationships, and remember that you'll be with the right person because you'll just know, and that person will be your peace. They will not be your stress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's huge.
I love that.
I'm not saying that everything is, rainbows and butterflies every second of the day. People are people, right? We all have our struggles, but overall picture, yes, that person should absolutely be your peace.
Yeah, and not only that, I got a great, he doesn't have a lot of family, but I got a great family to come along,
Well, with that, we definitely appreciate you coming on, sharing your stories. I'm sure you inspired somebody, and for people not to give up on finding love, because you never know where you're going to find it.
Exactly. But thank you. I appreciate you having me on today.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you.